Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Wolter, the commercial director at Younium. Hello.
Hello, Christian. Nice to be here.
Nice to see you. Please tell us what your company does.
Our company, Younium, does B2B software subscription management software, to be more specific. And then I'm talking, of course, about the customer subscriptions, not the supplier subscriptions. That's
What
we
do you
do.
say is the biggest problem that you solve?
The biggest problem, I think, is for customers that have not the really Netflix type of subscriptions that they're offering, like not the pick your flavor and move on, but like the negotiated ones. Each customer can be unique. Each customer can come in via reseller, can have different tier-based pricing agreed, can have different, customers that have very creative sales teams like us. They make up whatever they need to make up to close a deal. That's what we're here to solve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. What are the top 3 features of the product?
I think one is the revenue metrics that come out of all the subscriptions. 2 is the billing automation. And 3, I would say, the revenue recognition handling. But that's more for the techie finance people listening here.
Mm-hmm. And what are the use cases of the product? Who can use it?
We are very niched into, so like I said, you need to have some form of advanced customer subscriptions, and we see that mostly in B2B SaaS companies. So we're actually, that's our main target audience as well.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Can you share with us your favorite success story? So a happy customer that you helped and yeah.
I think, it's always hard to pick one, but I think most recently we signed a record deal, and what I really liked about that deal is that they came to us and really said, like, we didn't look for a subscription management solution because we thought our subscriptions were too complex to automate. So we thought we were going to be stuck with just Excel spreadsheets and finance systems, because we thought, like, our sales team is so creative, no system out there can do this, and that is exactly why we were purpose built for that. So that was like really feeling like, okay, the thing we set out to do in 2017, we made it. We have that product market fit. So that's, I think, my favorite customer success story. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. What would you say are the most important metrics that you should track regarding your pricing?
I'm a commercial man myself, so I really like to look at the SaaS magic number, so the annual contract value versus the customer acquisition cost, to see if we do a profitable job in sales. That's something I personally really like. In general, I think it's good for a SaaS company to also have some sort of North Star metric, right? Where they really just set a goal, like, I want to achieve a certain X with my tool. I think if you can make that measurable, it's the best metric to get all your business behind it. And then, of course, I also really feel that we live in a world where customer success organizations cannot be support organizations, so they need to be revenue engines. And for that, I like lifetime value and net retention to really see, like, can we also grow revenue on our base? So once we sign them, can we still do more instead of just keeping them in? How do we grow? I think that's another favorite of mine and an important one. I think.
Exactly. But how important are those, and why should companies track them? How it impacts their revenue, their forecasting? Tell us more about it, please.
I think, if you're talking about the SaaS magic number first, I think what is really important is, like, if you want to go for funding, a lot of SaaS companies want to go for funding, and half of the time it looks like it's almost a trend instead of a necessity. Like, oh, I got funded, I got my Series A. And I'm really happy, of course, that is happening. But sometimes, like, did you really do thinking? Can you prove that you are a scalable organization? And one of the things you can really prove that with is that SaaS magic number. So if that is higher than 1, you're not a scalable organization. So you can hire all the resources you want in sales and marketing, but it will not give you a payback time of less than a year. And if you have a lower, like an 0.5, then it's really time to invest. So that is really something to really steer your business on. That's why I like the magic number so much, because it really tells you, can I scale? Am I ready to scale, or do I need to work on my foundation? Do I need to check what is not functioning in sales and marketing for me to take that next step? I think so many founders I speak to also are, a bit scared of, like, oh, but if I get that 1 million, can I get it back? And how can I get it back? And that figure will tell you you can. I think that's why I love that so much myself. So I think that's why that is so important. And then if you look at net retention, why that is important, because it means your customer success organization understands your customers. And that comes back in everything. That comes back in churn reduction, but that also comes back in things like, I understand their process. So we're building the right thing in development for them. So we have efficiency in our development engine. It comes back in so many good aspects. So I think net revenue retention would definitely be number 2 for me. And
You said it really well. This will probably, yeah. You said it really well, and this will probably be a short. I really like how you said it. But who invented the magic number, the SaaS magic number? You invented it?
Who invented? No, I don't know who actually did it. But if I don't know, maybe I can still credit. No, I didn't invent it myself. I don't know. ACV to CAC. I think originally a lot of people looks at customer acquisition cost versus lifetime value. So, am I profitable based on so I spent 10 euros in sales. If I get 20 euros out of my customers, then I am profitable. Or I think the ratio should be 1 to 3 to be more precise. But I think why I like the SaaS magic number is because it really focuses more on the short-term revenue, because it really tells you about the payback time of your money. And the investment speed of that. And I don't know who invented it, to be honest, but I like it either way, whoever invented it.
Absolutely. And when do you think companies should pay attention to this number, starting from day one?
Yes, definitely. I think there's lifetime value day one doesn't make much sense because you don't have much customers that generate a lot of lifetime yet. So there's a lot of metrics that come to play later, but magic number from the beginning, how much am I spending to get my customers in versus the revenue they do from me? It's important from the day you sign a customer. I would say. I think it's crucial.
What are the most common integrations that?
The most common integrations that we have?
Yeah.
I think the most common integrations are to CRM systems. So, whatever sales then promises in the sales process would then get transferred to Younium. So, we synchronize to a HubSpot or to a Salesforce, and then, all the creativeness that sales can put in there. We try to take that information and turn that into a subscription that a finance team will understand, and that finance can also invoice with confidence that it was okay. And that ultimately, of course, the customer gets the invoice that matches the signature that they signed on that piece of paper in the beginning. I think that's the most common one. And then, of course, also with the accounting systems. So in many countries, there's a lot of local finance systems. In UK, I think Xero is really big. Germany, Datev is really big. In North America, QuickBooks is really big. So, we integrate to all those tools to make sure that we also keep the finance administrations in sync, so that when something gets invoiced in Younium, that the finance system also knows about it, because otherwise auditors come and visit you and they cannot find their information and they will start crying. It's not a fun time. Those are the most common ones. But also to add, is the SaaS service itself. So you see a lot of usage-based pricing, right, in the market. So, there's maybe a setup fee at the beginning, there's a recurring fee throughout the subscription, but maybe also some pay-as-you-go fees. So, number of bananas you can eat each month. That also needs to come from the SaaS service and go into Younium. So that's also automatically included in the invoicing process. So those are the, I guess, top 3 ones, I would say.
What is the pricing for Younium?
The pricing for Younium is we try to be a value-based pricing, like that's also a big trend. So, depending on the revenue you manage with a platform like Younium, there's certain tiers linked to that. So it's not like you have a fixed revenue percentage. Like if you have 1 million revenue, you pay 3%, something like that. It's not like that. So you have fixed fees. So you have predictability on when when you're going to be charged for what, so you can really budget for it. But also we have pricing plans that fit the starter that wants to measure KPIs from the beginning, but we also have, plans that really fit the enterprise businesses that have a bunch of features that they would need that a startup maybe doesn't really care about yet. And maybe in 5 years does like. So we have a really nice growth path for our customers. At least I hope so. I think we went through 6 price iterations in the past 7 years, right? We try to always keep
Wow.
optimizing. I think that is important for every SaaS company to always reflect on the pricing and see if you're still doing what your customers expect you to do. And that's what we do as well.
And the pricing is public?
If you Google for it properly, it will be on the website soon. If you Google for it more than 5 seconds, you will find it online. It's just not on our website yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand. But you want to make it public in the
Yeah,
upcoming
yeah.
future.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is
How-
really the pricing model we wanted to test, and with the audience, if is it understandable? How do people react to it in prospect meetings? And then we know, okay, this is. I don't need to do the explanation anymore. People can read it, understand it, then it can go on the website, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And how competitive is your space? How do you differentiate?
So I think if you Google subscription management solution, you will find a lot of things and a lot of companies. I think we're really niched into SaaS and into advanced subscriptions. So, if a customer comes to us with we have this 3 flavors that our customers can choose from, we usually try to redirect them to other, not competitors then, but we call them in Dutch, we call them compartners. They're competitors, but they're also, not really biting us. So we usually send them to them. If we're really into that niche market, we really feel we are standing out in that regard because we're really purpose built for this industry. And I haven't met many that come so close to that yet.
Great answer.
Yeah.
When did you join the company?
Myself, I joined in 2020, so 3 years almost. So I need to go for retirement soon.
And are you familiar with the founding story? Can you share it with us?
Yes, no, definitely I am. The founder story is one of the main reasons why I joined Younium. I worked at a big finance company here in the Netherlands, also a SaaS company, and where I came across Younium via the network, and I heard the founder story, which basically goes like, the founder was looking for a tool like Younium at a SaaS company he worked for at the time. And he was looking through the market and, tried to work with solutions that were there and try to customize that in a way that that business model would fit. But not only that, unfortunately, also compromise on the business model in order for the tool to work. And he says, I don't want to compromise my pricing model because it is what my customers believe in. So then he said, you know what, I'm going to build it myself. And he did that backed by the CEO of the company he worked for at that time as an angel investor. So he also believed in that mission. Wow. That's like the origin story of Younium. He works with the CTO, and as he was they were friends, and they were just developing code from the beginning, 2 of them together, and it's been a hell of a ride. I joined in 2020 when we had, I think, 30 customers, and we times 6 that by now. So we're growing really fast. I'm really happy of that. But that is because he really found a good spot in the market. He knew the positioning. He knew the ideal customer profile. And those are such crucial things, ingredient to have in order. Otherwise, would have been a different story, I guess. But you've heard many stories like this in your podcast.
Thank you for sharing. And in what year was it exactly founded? Do you know?
2017, yes. So in the 1st of May 2017, Younium was really put on paper that it was an approved company. And then I think in 2018, we had the code in the place where we could sign a customer that really was like a co-developer almost to customers, right? The first 3-4 customers really determine the next phase of your product. So we owe it all to them and to many others that we got them here. So 2017 it was founded, 2018 was the first live customers, roughly.
And how many people were there at the company when you joined versus now? I'm referring to team members.
Yes, when I joined, I was employee number 13, and now we are roughly 60, so a bit more. So get a lot more friends here. Much
Awesome.
more fun.
Yeah. And how do you describe the culture at the company?
I think it's for me, it's the best culture I've had the pleasure to work with. It's very open. All budgets, strategies, plans, everything is on a public shared folder, so anybody in the company can see what the actual mission is, what the targets are, what, it's really a transparent company, which I think helps in establishing a positive culture. But also we invest in culture, so we have culture people that really make sure that there's enough fun activities. We meet as a group because we're an international company. We have an office in US, in Sweden, in the Netherlands. We make sure we meet at least like twice a year all together to just have fun and have some workshops. I think each office specifically also takes time to just like have dinners every month together, just laugh, enjoy time outside of work, really connect on different levels. And for those who have seen us at events, we always wear these pink hats, so we're known as a fun group to hang out with, I think, at SaaS events as well. So I think the culture, I got the compliment at least that the culture shines outside of us, so it's really noticeable that we have a good team, and I'm really proud of that.
That's awesome. And you mentioned the SaaS events. That was one of my next questions, but let's do it now. What are your main strategies for conferences? Because you're probably one of the most seen brands when people attend conferences.
Oh, that is really good to hear. My VP of marketing colleague will love that. So I will tell her after this, definitely. But I think we really believe in two things. So we sometimes go to events for brand awareness, right? We are not yet we exist since 2017, so we are not the same name as maybe other companies are. So one reason, of course, is brand awareness. But for instance, we were also at SaaSiest, where I think I saw you as well in the Malmö this year.
Yes.
And that is, we didn't go there so much for brand awareness because in Scandinavia, we're probably the most known brand of B2B subscription management. And we go there because we also believe that SaaS is a good place to hang out with friends and with customers and with other people. It's just a place. It's such a massive but super small community, if you know what I mean. Right? You probably do. I see.
Yes.
So I think that is also one of the reasons we want to be close to our prospects and to our customers to really just like network and we realize because of that it's also commercially good, because when people then ultimately want to go and it's the right time for them to find a solution like Younium, they remember us like, oh, those are those guys I had so much fun hanging out with. They're nice people. I can trust them. I think they have something good there, and that, like, in the long term, it does a lot. So it's not like we go to an event and we say like we need 3 customer contracts by the end of the week. It's really, we know this is invaluable and tough to measure, but super valuable to us.
Perfectly said. I love it. I love it. And what was your latest funding round?
My latest funding round was a mini round, I would say, in last year, I think, in August, September. And there's probably going to be some funding announcements in the coming months. So gonna raise some funding in the coming August, September timeframe. Will be some announcements. So gonna look forward to that. So that's the next plan.
Yeah. Okay. What has been your biggest challenge since joining the company?
Biggest challenge is I thought it was going to be COVID, because I jumped on board the SaaS train in Younium when COVID started, but it really wasn't, because SaaS is modern. We sell to SaaS, right? So it's a modern based thinking groups of people that were meeting. So the online meets didn't matter. Everybody was modern and was making it work. So I think that's what I was expected to be a big challenge, but it wasn't. I think it's the more of the economical events of last year where we really had to look like, okay, companies are now struggling. Things are being reprioritized everywhere. Like, okay, do we need to go for certain solutions? And for a lot of companies, subscription management is still seen as a luxury, not a necessity. So a finance system, everybody needs to have. CRM, everybody needs to have. Younium, subscription management, yeah, it will help a lot, but is it for today? Right? Those kind of things and struggles is probably what was a bit tough last year, but when we finally realized, we're actually enabling these companies to still get the funding they wanted, to still, because, when you go for a funding round, you need to have a good due diligence, you need to have a good enterprise value. And how do you do that? You have your books in order and you have good SaaS metrics. And we realized we actually helped those people still get the same amount of funding as they would have done in 2021. And when we got into like, okay, that should be our message as well outbound, that's when things went back up again. So that was, I think, the biggest struggle, but we recovered from it really well, I can say. So that's good.
That's a great solution. And what was your biggest mistake?
My biggest mistake, personally,
Yeah, yeah,
I think my biggest mistake is that I, at a few points in my career at Younium, thought I knew answers to messaging. Like, how do we do outreach? I think I had 3 or 4 moments at my time at Younium where I thought, I know what the message should be. And then every time it keeps changing because the world keeps changing. And when you get too comfortable on like, I now know how to position and message Younium, and you get comfortable in that, people move on. You stick with old messaging and you lose contact, you lose getting into dialogues. And I think that's my biggest mistake. I really thought that too often. I still keep falling for the trap when I see good meeting booked rates and, all those good things. Like, oh, it's going well. I'm getting comfortable. I'm going to move on to different things instead of keeping focused on like, is it still good? And those 2 months of not focusing on that can really be painful months. So that's it, I think.
yeah, yeah. And what would you say is the most successful go-to-market strategy that you used? Was it outbound?
Yeah, I think outbound, especially in the phase we are in, we don't have the name that everybody like, oh, okay, I need subscription management. Let's Google Younium directly. We don't have that brand yet. We're still working on that, and it's greatly increasing. And I think outbound is a successful strategy. And also another thing we did right in terms of go-to-market is from day one, we decided to be an international company. So we're not going to build something for Scandinavia or for Sweden. We're going to build something for all the world to enjoy. And with that mindset, not only do you meet companies that also want to do that and want to go internationally, that's one benefit. But the other benefit is also your product roadmap from day one is established for that specific thinking. And I think that is, so geographical expansion is our best go-to-market strategy because we knew what we're going to do from day one. It's always tougher if you build something local and then try to take that formula and bring it to another country. That's much more difficult.
Absolutely. And what is the vision for the future of the company?
The vision in a short term is we want to be the most known brand and like the obvious thing, like, okay, I am a SaaS company. I want to look for a subscription management solution, Younium. I'm going to Google Younium. I don't even care about anything else. It's like what Netflix was 5 years ago, right? I want video on demand. You didn't know about maybe an HBO or something. You go to Netflix. That's what you watch. That's what you hear in movies. And I want to be that for the SaaS industry. I just want to be the no-brainer decision for everyone who thinks I have a complex B2B subscription management. I go to Younium because they can help me. They have helped so many others. That's what I want to achieve.
That's a great vision. And what do you actually do as a commercial director in your day-to-day?
I have a bit of a mixed role myself. So I'm also working on the 3-year plan, so the long-term strategies of Younium. So where do we go? Not only how do we generate revenue today, but also how do we generate revenue in 3 years, and where do we need to be, which markets, which things, and things like that. And that's where I spend a lot of my time on. But in addition to that, I'm also managing the local sales team here in Amsterdam, which is a fantastic group of people. So that's the other half of my day. And I think at least a third of my week I spend talking to customers and or prospects. Because I just feel that's where the magic happens, and they always tell me something new that I think I knew and then I didn't know. So it's the best place to be in order for me to also determine what we should be doing in 3 years, right? So that's kind of how I spend my week, roughly.
Okay, and how did you start your career? Basically after college, let's say.
After college. So I was. Can we keep this between us? No, I'm kidding. But I was bad at school. Very bad at school. I was a working person. So I worked in a warehouse, to just pick orders and things, and then I really worked my way up from there, and they saw, hey, this guy has some other skills as well. Let him try some other things, and then I could do other things, and then I worked myself up all the way from warehouse until product manager, and then I got asked to work in the product management team and strategy team of a great big SaaS company here in the Netherlands, which was like massive step for me. And that was like a big corporate and lots of things to do, and that had its charm. But I am not much of a good person to follow processes. I'm much too much of a cowboy myself. So then this offer came on the table to join a startup where there were no more rules and just like, let's grow, let's get your hands dirty. And I just, that appealed to me so much that I couldn't say no to Niklas and to Younium, and it's been a best decision of my life, in my career at least, to join Younium.
And what would be your best piece of advice for somebody that's looking to quit the corporate world and wants to join a new startup? How can they choose it? How can they do this step? What's
Yeah,
your
I
take on that?
I think for me, so you have a lot of people that always want to have their own business at some point in life, right? I want to have my own business. And for me, I know I am not going to be creative and smart enough to probably come up with a super cool business idea. So I always felt like helping another person to achieve their mission is for me the right answer. And Niklas, our CEO, had the mission, had the ambition, and had the good founder story that I believed in and wanted to join, and really felt like, okay, I want to be a part of this and I want to help grow this into something massive. And that appealed to me so much that I said goodbye to all the good perks, because I had like, company cars and all the fun salaries. And then you join a startup, it's different life, but I come home with a smile. My family enjoys my smile. My daughter enjoys my smile. It is worth so much to me. I think that is my advice. Do whatever makes you happy. And, if corporate life makes you happy, for a lot of people that need structure, that is fantastic. But for me, I don't like to play by the rules. I needed to start up.
I super appreciate that. So you let your ego down and you decided, well, it's better to be a small part of something that's going to be big rather than
Exactly.
having, yeah, you understand what I mean. So fantastic. I really appreciate your mindset, and I think more people should adopt it. Awesome. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite SaaS product apart from Younium?
I think I know the answer to that. Give me one sec. I need to find it. I really like Mosaic.tech. I found the solution recently. I haven't met the people there. It's a finance solution, but I really think these guys found something in the finance. They don't know about me. I'm not getting paid for this. I found them recently, and I think they found a solution
Yeah.
that is new, and is going to change finance professionals' life as much as Udemy. So I think that's a tool I really respect.
Thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you want to mention on the podcast today?
No, I'm just really happy to be here and that we got the chance to finally meet, because I see so much about you guys and about Tekpon and about you, and we saw each other at events. So it was high time that we sat down like this. So I really appreciate being here, and that's all.
Thank you so much for joining. You did fantastic, and I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.